What if the hero of your story isn't a hero at all? What if the person you've been rooting for, the woman whose grief you feel, whose anger you understand, is actually the most dangerous creature in the entire new world? What if humanity did survive the end of the world, but the only person who refused to evolve became the one thing capable of destroying the peaceful planet that replaced it? Today, we're diving into the most disturbing theory in Pluribus, the idea that Carol isn't the protagonist of the story. She's the monster the new world whispers about in its sleep. And if that sounds dramatic, wait until you hear this. Somewhere across the planet, 12 isolated, disconnected immunes wander through the ruins of the old world, but only one of them sits at the center like a dark star they all orbit. Only one of them can collapse entire cities just by feeling too much. Only one of them triggers planetary seizures, millions dropping at once just by letting her emotions burn a little too hot. That one is Carol. But here's the part the show never says out loud. Her existence mirrors a twisted, inverted reflection of one of the oldest stories humanity ever told. A savior with 12 followers, except this time the savior might be the threat. So ask yourself, if a world built on perfect unity finally emerges from the ashes, is the last remaining individual a hero or a demon? And more importantly, if you were the last unjoined soul left in a world that no longer needed you, how long would it take before the world started fearing you? Welcome back to our channel. Your home for deep, emotional, insane-level theories that break your brain in the best way possible. Settle in, take a breath, and prepare yourself, because today's breakdown is going to change the way you see Pluribus forever. Carol, the fracture in a perfect world. The strange thing about Pluribus is that it begins like Carol is the obvious protagonist. We're shoved directly into her grief, the rawness of losing Helen, the guilt that eats at her in waves. We hear every crack in her voice, every tremor of anger, every moment she holds herself together by the thinnest thread. If emotion were gravity, Carol would be the planet everything else orbits. And yet, the deeper the show pulls us into its soft, humming world, the more the camera begins to feel like a liar. Not because Carol is innocent, but because our sympathy for her blinds us to what the others must see. Because if you stand on the hive's side for just 1 second, if you stop seeing Carol as the wounded survivor and start seeing her as an unpredictable, disconnected, uncontrollable force, that feels like heroism, like she's the one person who didn't surrender. But from the hive's perspective, she's the last broken nerve firing off pain signals into a body that's trying desperately to stay calm. The global consequence of one woman's emotions. The most terrifying part isn't that Carol is separate, it's that her emotions still ripple through the hive without her consent. When she has a panic attack, thousands collapse. When anger rises in her throat, workers fall unconscious. When grief hits her like a punch, entire cities seize. She doesn't want to hurt anyone, but she does. To the hive, she's not Carol Marshall, sad widow from Albuquerque. She's a planet-wide liability. A single spark that can burn the new world down. Imagine being one of the joined, tending crops, caring for children, building homes, and at any moment a woman hundreds of miles away can drop your entire community to the floor. You'd be terrified of her too. The 12 immunes and the twisted mirror of an ancient story. And this is where the symbolism kicks in, because Carol isn't alone in her immunity. There are 12 of them, 12 isolated voices, 12 outliers scattered across a unified world. And who sits at the center? Carol, the one they all orbit around, the one their messages gravitate toward, the